Hi everyone, thank you guys so much for tuning back into my channel where I love to talk about wealth, knowledge, love, and laughter. Alright, so let's get into it. So today we're talking about the power of consistency as it relates to our attitude. Yes, our attitude. So I can remember as a child growing up, going into different classrooms of my teachers and seeing posters on their wall. And I remember this saying, your attitude determines your altitude. That has stuck with me forever. In that moment, I can remember thinking as a child, not a lot about attitude, but basically knowing deep inside that, okay, my attitude is going to determine, I guess, how high I can go as a person or in education and things like that. So I didn't really dive deep into it, but I did get some sense of understanding whenever I saw that information. And so, as I've grown into an adult and really began to study this thing when it comes to our mindset and how we look at things and our perception, etc., it took me to Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale actually refers to the attitude as being the magic word, the word that's going to determine life's outcome for us. And so with our attitude, I just want to come on here to remind you guys today how important it is to make sure that we keep an attitude of gratitude. Like I've mentioned several times in my videos, you guys know that I am really big on attitude, and it's very important to make sure that we keep the attitude of gratitude if we want to continue to attract the things that we aspire to have and become the person that we want to become. And so with attitude, we just have to make sure that we're keeping a good positive attitude, right? We want positive vibes. We want positivity in our lives. We want things to grow and to flourish, right? So in order to make those things happen, we have to make sure that we're always staying on a positive level plane or a positive frequency when it comes to our attitude, okay? And so also with having a good attitude, you want to make sure that we want to make sure that we're treating others how we want to be treated. That attitude is a positive attitude to have. As I mentioned last week on some of the pointers that I gave last week, if you have someone that's bothering you, instead of constantly rehearsing the event or the situation or the conversation in your mind, simply send love to that person. When we do that, we're keeping a positive attitude. That's keeping our attitude at bay of what we want to attract into our lives. And so having an attitude of treating everyone like we want to be treated is an initial step to getting where we want to get in life. It's so easy for people to go about their day and treat their coworkers, the same way like they treated you, or somebody that you run into when you're driving down the road. You may get upset because someone pulls out in front of you and you may want to go back and pull out or block them or do something. Listen, I understand. I am a recovering road rage queen, okay? So I get it, all right? But we have to remember that our attitude is so important, because if we allow someone to shift our attitude and we'll become, that same person that they're being to us, that's not going to serve us in a positive way. That's not going to serve us in a healthy way, right? That's just going to get us distracted off of the goal, off of our desires. And then our attitude is just going to be so shifted towards treating them like they treated us, or causing them the pain that they've caused us. And so that's why it's so important to make sure that we always treat others like we want to be treated. One thing that I've learned is being in the top 1%, the wealthy people, their attitude is so different from a poverty mindset person. And if you have any desire to ever want to become wealthy, starting here is one of the basics of getting what you want to attract into your life, getting what God has already promised you, right? Which is the abundant life in multiple areas: mindset, finances, physical, intellectual, multiple areas. And in order to attract that and to have that and to manifest that, your attitude is going to be one of the basic foundations to make sure that happens or it doesn't happen, okay? And so I also wanted to speak to you guys about making sure that we're aware of how we're responding to people, like I said. And so, there are times when I'm walking my dog or just walking, my son, we're walking the neighborhood. There are some times where I run into people that aren't necessarily, I'm not gonna say they're not friendly, but they may not necessarily speak, which is, hey, that's their choice, right? Me on the other hand, I'm pretty bubbly. I like to speak to people. If I see you, I'm gonna speak to you. I'm gonna wave. I'm gonna, acknowledge that I see you, right? And there, for the most part, majority of people that I see do that, right? But there are some that may not. Now, there are times when I've gotten on, my attitude has shifted. And, I'm not perfect, right? We're not perfect. I'm a work in progress. Sometimes my attitude has shifted and it's like, I'll get to the place where I'm like, okay, well, if they don't speak to me, I'm not going to speak to them. And then I have to have a conversation with myself. I'm like, okay, Jolunda, well, is that what you want to do? No. Is that who you are? No. Well, why would you allow this person to shift your attitude? And so now I actually feel pity for those people. I feel pity for them because I'm like, my goodness, if they are, willing, that's what it is. They aren't even willing to speak and acknowledge someone that's, in their neighborhood or someone that they see out at the store. If I run into those type of people now, I feel pity for them. Because I'm like, gosh, their vibration, whatever they have going on in their life must be really, really low, right? And sometimes people are in a low spot. People go through things that we may not never even know. And so I usually try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Now, there are times when I get into, in the past, not now, there are times when, I can count on my hand maybe the amount of times that I've done this where I would be like, okay, well, they didn't speak to me. I'm not going to speak to them. Or then I had to check myself because it's like, okay, I'm not going to allow somebody else to shift the type of person that I am and my energy, right? And so now I speak, and if they don't speak back to me, right? If they don't return the courtesy, I feel sorry for them. I feel pity for them because I'm like, man, their vibration must be very, very low that they don't even have the willingness to speak to just a casual, nice person that they see out on the street, walking their dog or whatever it may be, whatever the case is. And so I feel pity for those people and I actually send love to them. And so instead of allowing them to shift my attitude, I keep an attitude of gratitude within myself and the good vibration that I have and the attitude that I have and the things that the Lord has done for me, right? And I send love to them. So that's actually all that I wanted to share with you guys today. I just wanted to remind you to be consistent in your attitude. And I hope that this resonated with you guys today. I know some of you may have been there. If so, comment in the chat, leave a comment and let me know, how this has helped you today. Information if it resonates with you, and also hit that bell button for notifications of my uploads every week. All right. So thank you guys so much for tuning back into my channel today, and have a great week.